What's going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool.
Chunky! I didn't even say.
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. All right. You guys want to watch some court? I want to watch some court. Let's watch some court. All right. Before I get into it, I do have a guest tonight, and I think you guys are going to know who this is. She likes to call herself a Sith, even though her name is Jedi. Yeah. Welcome, Jedi.
What's going on?
How are you doing this evening?
I am just peachy. How you doing, Buttercup?
I am doing better now that you called me Buttercup. There's very few things that get me smiling these days. That's not true. That was a terrible thing to say. I was trying to figure out something to say about you calling me Buttercup, but I failed miserably.
All right, sweet tits, let's get this rolling, huh? I'm kidding.
I mean that's yeah, okay. That we'll accept that. I accept that. I mean, they are pretty sweet. Just
Well,
saying.
I mean, I imagine they are. I mean, I'll have to defer to Heather on that. But
I know, yeah. All right, we're starting off weird right off the bat. Let's see, B, welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Yeah.
Right on, B.
So just a quick little summary about what we're playing tonight. I've got one case. It's going to take the entire show. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but last week I showed a couple hearings from Judge Hayward, and she said something rather unique. She told a defendant, "Do not make me send the county Uber to come pick you up." Well, I have that case. That's what we're watching tonight. His hearing happened yesterday, so we're going to watch it. And yeah, spoiler alert, she didn't have to send a county Uber. But we are going to start with last week's hearing just to kind of refresh your memory on what we're doing, and then we're going to get into the actual case. Is that cool with you, Jedi?
That's cool with me, although I would have rather the county Uber went to get him.
Yeah, that would have been a better story. But yep, he showed up on his own. All right. Yeah, you want to watch some court? Let's watch some court.
I want to watch some court, but you know what to do. Jump kicks, backflips, all that.
Okay, you say it. Let's see. You do it.
Oh, boy. You know what to do. Click the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick, backflips. Let's go.
That was good. That was good.
Sort of.
We'll just roll.
Kind of.
Let's go.
Marquelius Ray McNabb.
Oops.
I'm here. Mr. McNabb is present. We are going to have a conference. I would ask Mr. McNabb to go ahead and chat his contact information to Taz Taylor, phone number, email address, and myself or Mr. Taylor will go ahead and give him a call in a moment.
Yeah, Mr. McNabb has 2 cases.
It's 5 cases.
I think
He has 5 cases, Your Honor.
5 cases?
And his motion to revoke bond is scheduled on the 15th or the 14th. 15th.
Really? Mr. McNabb, you have a motion to revoke bond that's scheduled, sir. I'm gonna need to see you in court, not on video, for the motion to revoke bond. Are we clear?
revoke bond for what?
Sir, you got 5 cases. In these 5 cases, you have violated your bond conditions by getting at least 4 of these cases. So, yeah, sir, I'm gonna need to see you in person. Please don't make me send county Uber to get you.
What you want me to do now?
Come in person. You're gonna be here in front of me on April what?
Your Honor, it's the 15th.
April 15th. You're coming into court for that day, sir. Please don't try me. Please don't make me send somebody to get you. You're gonna be present in court. We clear? Courtroom 304-9151 Terra Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia, in the great county of Clayton. We clear?
Yeah, so I'm getting locked up.
I'm not sure about that yet. We haven't had a hearing, but I'm gonna just tell you, you got 5 cases after you got bond conditions to not do stuff. So we're gonna.
Heather, just so you know, Heather, Jenna requested that intro. It is Heather's intro.
What are you throwing me under the bus for?
Jenna requested it. It's her fault. She did it. She did it.
I didn't mean to step on toes. Love you, Heather.
You didn't step on any toes. Heather.
Heather.
See.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. So clear.
Mr. McNabb, please stand by. We're going to contact you in a moment. Go ahead and mute your mic. Thank you.
Make it up. Half my doggone 1 o'clock count. Just wild. Don't make a bit of sense. Pearson. Next is McNabb. Motion to revoke.
All right, so that first part was what happened last week. Now we're getting into what happened today. But yeah, I just wanted an excuse to hear Judge Hayward say, "Don't make me send the county Uber to come get you." I just wanted to hear that again. So that's why we watched that part. All right,
I love it.
Now we're on to the main case, or same case, main. Yeah, let's just say
the main event.
Main event. There we go.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I do represent Mr. McNabb, and I just wanted to.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, can we have a breakout room with Mr. Lynch? We have a negotiation. I just need to ask about if the court will accept.
Okay, hold on.
I could potentially save some time there. At this point, Mr. McNabb is not accepting the newly negotiated recommendation that you presented, Ms. Ponder. So I don't know if that.
Okay, so that means we're going forward with the hearing.
That is my understanding, Judge. I just don't want to waste anybody's time. That's
all right. Let's go forward. All right.
So, can I have a brief breakout room with the officer, Mr. Angelus, please? Officer Angelus.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Don't want to interrupt, but so the state did file 2 motions to revoke bond, and I'm just trying to figure out which one we're going forward on first.
Well, how many cases does he have?
Yes, 5, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. So, let me put, are you going forward on both? The second one, the first one, what y'all doing?
We're going forward on both.
But I'm just trying to figure out which one we're starting with.
I'm just want to speak with the officer. I believe, and I can tell you which case he's on because he's the one that's in training. And then we have another officer that's been here and he's in the courtroom.
Okay.
And then we have another victim that's on the call, Miss Bailey. So I just need to speak.
Okay, breakout room number 1.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll be back.
All right. We'll be back. Yeah, not gonna lie, I don't think I edited this out. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't edit this out. Anyways, we do have a stray Brit. Rich.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing?
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, well, kind of surprise cameo by yours truly. So, hello everyone. Hi, chat. Just say when you get fed up with me, and I shall make a hasty retreat.
Well, you know what? When you guys get fed up with me, you can kick me out too. Why don't you just run the show?
Out. I feel like we got this.
We don't need you. If you could hit the play button, play and pause, that would be an interesting show.
Oh yeah. No, if I had control of things, woo.
All right, I gotta.
I mean, you can see my fire editing skills.
Yeah, I put this together late. I did. I had a late video tonight, and I threw this one up real quick. So it should be starting any second. Well,
yeah, Jedi and I running this thing would be chaos. I hate to think what we'd actually like.
Status ready, Your Honor.
Yeah, but it could be fun chaos though. Not all chaos.
It would totally be fun chaos.
No doubt about that. It would be hilarious.
All right, here we go.
Your Honor, we're gonna,
Do you know which one we're going?
yeah, I'm about to tell you that right now because it all comes down to dates. So we're gonna go forward on the first one on the calendar, and that's the 2022 CR 00704. And that is the simple battery and terroristic threats. Then we're gonna follow up and do the simple assault, and Miss Bailey is on the call for that case, as well as Officer Covington, who is still in the courtroom. He is on the 2024 CR 00633. He is the officer for that case. The victim, Miss Bailey, is on for that case. And then the first one, 2022 CR 00704. I can use both cases, but I'm gonna use this officer here, Mr. Angelus, Officer Angelus, excuse me.
All right.
Can I, Miss Ponder, I understand the procedure. I'm gonna chat you something.
Okay.
I'm taking a look at it. It may or may not be an issue here, but I think it's in regards to the motion. And I just want to make sure you're understanding this.
Okay.
I love Mr. Angelis'
Now
card.
just let me pull the chat up 1 second.
Yeah, like, is it
Okay.
pink or is it not? I think it's probably just a light, but it'd be pretty pimp if the inside of his like cruiser was legit like hot pink.
Maybe it is. And we have more downtime that I gotta fast forward through.
Case August.
Oh, they're talking. The judge isn't here though. It's magenta.
So who is the deputy chief? What do they do?
Yes, it's the sister.
She's the deputy chief prosecutor. So I don't know the hierarchy in the, when it comes to prosecutors, but a deputy chief, I'm going to guess she's second or third in the hierarchy. There's your elected prosecutor and then the people that are hired under the elected prosecutor. So the prosecutor, I mean, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, the elected prosecutor kind of builds their team underneath them. So deputy chief is just kind of a rank is a bad word, but a bad word when it comes to this, but it's something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of just like in the hierarchy.
Yeah. Sparkle Boots, thank you so much for the gifted membership. Welcome to the new member. Thank you, Sparkle Boots.
Thanks, Mama.
Correct. Am I right?
The August 2023 case is Chartria, which would be his the mother of his children, the sister.
Correct. So the cases on the calendar is against the mother of his children. The case from the battery family violence case, I have Shankiria and Shataria Hutcherson for both as victims.
It's just, the allegation is just that for the 2020, for the battery family violence case, August 17th, 2023, the only victims are alleged would be Chartria. There's not.
Biggin, thank you so much for the raid, my friend. I do appreciate it. Welcome to all the Biggin Raiders. We are hanging out in Georgia tonight. I know you guys just came from Georgia with Biggin, but we are back in Georgia with Judge Tammi Hayward. We really haven't started this case yet. So we're just kind of, the prosecutor and the defense attorney are just kind of working through some things right now. But you haven't missed anything. We haven't gotten to the meat of this case. I will tell you, it is a bond revocation hearing. This gentleman, the defendant, he has 5 new charges, 5 new cases when he's on bond. Judge Hayward is not happy, so he's here for a bond revocation hearing, and that's what we're about to watch. But we just started, so you're all good, and thanks again, Biggin. Oh, also, Jedi and Rich joined me. For those of you that don't know, Jedi isn't really a Jedi; she's a Sith, and Rich might be the coolest Brit that you'll ever meet. So there's the introduction for the panel.
Well, thank you, Colin. And greetings and salutations. Hi, Biggin Raiders.
Biggin.
Biggin.
Hey, Biggins.
I might start calling him Biggin now. Biggin.
Biggin 2 or Biggin II. Who knows?
That is actually interesting. I've never asked him about that. It is Biggin II. I've always called him Biggin. Well, everyone calls him Biggin, but I've always assumed it was Biggin 2. I have no idea. No idea what the II is. But anyways, let's get into the case. So someone in the chat's going to tell me. Well, it's actually his middle initials I, his last initials I. I don't know.
Well, maybe he's the second.
Biggin the second. It could be a Roman numeral.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Shakiria. So in the motion, it says Shakiria is the victim on the August case, but that's not what's alleged, and that's not what the police
So
report.
my motion is based on the fact that your client picked up new cases when his bond conditions in 2021 said do not violate any other laws while on bond. So that's what we're going forward.
Right. It's not just, and I understand that.
So it's just not victim based, correct? Because she's not going to come up here against her child's father, I'm sure.
So Hello Kitty is Biggin's wife. It's Miss. I always call her Mrs. Biggin, but okay. So there we go. That makes sense. You know what? I never knew that. Probably something I should know. I actually I know that his son was Biggin 3. I never put that together though. I didn't know that you were Biggin 1 because you're always Hello Kitty. But it makes sense now.
I'm just okay. I just wanted to make sure that we were.
Yeah, no, I'm aware. Yeah, I was speaking to the officer about that. So we had kind of an understanding.
Okay, I guess I don't, and I apologize for taking time. I just wanted to make sure we understood that.
All right, Judge, come back. Oh, there she is.
Defense is ready.
All right. So this is the motion to revoke bond on case 2022 CR 00704. This is Marquelius Ray McNabb. Ms. McNabb is represented by the law firm of Lister Holt Dennis. Mr. Owen Lynch is with him. The state is represented by Deputy Chief Shabria Ponder. And they are ready to go forward with the motion. Ms. Ponder, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, Your Honor, the state is going to go out of order with witnesses based on officer availability.
That's fine.
Thank you, Your Honor. And so at this time, Your Honor, the state will call Trooper Angelus. May you please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Okay, may you please state your first and last name?
Trooper Ulysses Angelus.
Okay, and can you spell your first and last name for the court and for the reporter?
First name is Ulises. Last name is Angelus, Angeles.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm currently with Georgia State Patrol.
Okay, and prior to being employed with the Georgia State Patrol, were you employed with the Clayton County Police Department?
Yes.
Okay, and how long were you employed with the Clayton County Police Department?
Approximately 4 years.
Okay, and being employed with Clayton County Police, does it require you to be post-certified?
Yes.
On this date, August the 17th, 2023, were you in fact post-certified?
Yes.
In good standing?
Yes.
Okay. And being post-certified, does that give you the authority to issue citations?
Yes.
Does it give you the authority to arrest individuals?
Yes.
Okay. I want to draw your attention to why we're here today, August 17th, 2023. Did you respond to 7830 North McDonough Street?
Yes, I did.
Located here in Clayton?
Yes.
And why did you respond to that incident location?
I responded in reference to a domestic violence call.
Okay. And during the course of your investigation, when you arrived on scene, did you make contact or did you speak with anyone? Without saying what they said, did you have a conversation with anyone on scene?
Yes.
Okay. And how many people do you recall speaking with?
I spoke to Mr. McNabb. I also spoke to his girlfriend at the time, which Chartria. Last name was Hutchison, Chartria Hutchison, and her sister, who was also present. Her name is Shakiria Hutchinson.
Okay. And so, so I just want to understand correctly, because I know.
Defense attorney, wake up, pay attention. He's reading off a report.
I know, I
Object.
was just gonna ask about that. Like, oh, so like on Zoom they can read off the report?
Yeah, no, you can't. Defense
He's just
attorney.
he's refreshing his memory, as they say.
He absolutely is, but there's a reason why officers aren't allowed to read off the report. So the defense attorney needs to be paying attention to this.
Right. Well,
he said when he was talking with somebody at the scene, right? His girlfriend at the time or something, Chartreuse. Like maybe he got her into his car and that's why it's that color, because it's kind of isn't that kind of chartreusey color?
Oh, Rich. Yep. I don't know. I don't know what color that is that you're talking about, but I understood what you were trying to say. Or what you said. Not trying to say. You said it. Sure.
So there's a lot of information. Give me one moment.
All right. I don't like dead time.
Okay. And
keep
so
responding.
during the course of your
She's
investigation,
like,
you
okay.
indicated that you
Okay.
spoke to 3 individuals. Did you speak to anyone else?
Yes. It was a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old juvenile on scene as well.
Okay. And you spoke to the 2 children and the 3 adults.
Correct.
Okay. In the course of your investigation, after speaking to those individuals, did you make an arrest?
Yes.
Okay. And who did you arrest on that day?
Mr. McNabb.
Okay. And what did you arrest him for?
For battery, family violence, and cruelty to children, 3rd degree.
Okay. And did you yourself observe any injuries?
Yes.
And what were those injuries?
So Chartria had a cut on her hand. The sister, Shakiria, had a bruise on her forearm.
Okay. And okay, you've answered that. No further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Rich.
I'm listening. Just a couple questions, Officer Angelus. One of the individuals that you spoke to during the
My first question for the officer is, can you please not put your hand on the steering wheel? It looks like you're trying to pose for the camera. It is distracting. And I'm going to guess that's why Deputy Chief Ponder had a hard time asking him questions. Stop. I can't even look at you right now. You are way too good looking. Please stop doing that.
Stop existing.
Right?
And just to settle the chartreuse disagreement, it is a vivid greenish yellow color, so unfortunately it doesn't qualify. However, Rich did clarify in chat that chartreuse is just a color, whatever color he doesn't like, so I'll accept that.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how he got it that color. Like,
It's just the weird way that the light is hitting everything.
Yeah, it's reflecting off of something. You can
Yeah.
tell it's the light because it's bright in some areas and dark in others. So it's
Well, and like everything outside is pink too. So like It's
Yeah, I get
unless
that.
he
It's
lives
just-
in some alternate universe.
He has a pink filter on his phone. That's what it is. It's his phone.
No,
There's
I was
always
looking at
multiple
it.
cameras.
It's from a technical view. Like there's RGB, like red, green, blue color mixing, and then there's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, which is subtractive color mixing. Sorry.
Yeah, don't
just
get
wondering
him
how this happened.
started.
Oh.
Course of your investigation, I believe you indicated was my client, Mr. McNabb. Is that correct?
Yes.
And isn't it true that what Mr. McNabb told you is that he was jumped by his girlfriend and her sister, Shaikh?
I'm gonna object to that, Your Honor, unless the defendant intends to testify.
So I believe that it would be admissible under a statement by, it's 801, statement by a party opponent. It's, what my client said is admissible because it's his own statement. I don't think he has to testify for that.
And Your Honor, I will argue that it is hearsay. The counsel is wanting the officer.
Exclusion, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Counsel is wanting the officer to testify to what the defendant said or get into what the defendant said when the defendant is choosing, which is his right, not to speak.
So it's a hearsay exclusion, Judge. It's admission party opponent.
1 second.
Yeah, I feel like this is just going to be the pace of the night.
Overrule.
All right, thanks, Judge.
So you can answer the question, officer.
And your question was, if you don't mind.
That Mr. McNabb told you that he was jumped by his girlfriend and her sister, Shakira.
Yes.
Okay. He also told you that he fell on the ground in the process of being jumped by Chartria and Shakira. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Did his shoes fall off?
You, during the course of your investigation, you were shown a video. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
And that video that you were showed, well, what did you see on the video?
On the video, I saw Chartria with some items of Mr. McNabb, in which a physical altercation ensued then. And I could see Chartria on the ground with Mr. McNabb. But after that, the video kind of cut off, so I wasn't able to see anything further.
Okay, so you were able to, how were you able to determine that the items that they had were Mr. McNabb's?
Believe Mr. McNabb told me those were his at one point, but I can't completely recall that.
No further questions at this time.
All right. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right. May this officer be excused?
No, he may not.
Oh, I was waiting for that. I was actually expecting it from Rich, though, not you.
Your Honor, if I could just hold this officer.
Yeah, you want to.
Just
Yeah,
briefly.
you will.
All right. All right. So Trooper, just if you will just hold for a moment, you can go ahead and mute and we'll call you when necessary. All right, next witness.
They're just
Your
gonna
Honor,
leave
the
him on there
next
forever.
case, one moment.
Oh, it's coming in, B. We get a Judge Hayward lecture at the end.
Your Honor, the state at this time will call Officer Covington.
Ooh, another contestant?
Is he still in the courtroom, Mr. Lynch?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
No, you're fine.
So I guess you're gonna stand right here. Actually, let's not get our stuff mixed up.
And good morning, officer. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that testimony that you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. May you please?
Is that normal for the prosecutor to swear in a witness?
I don't think we've seen that. I've seen the bailiff do it.
Yeah, or the judge. I don't know if I've ever seen a
Yeah.
prosecutor. And the prosecutor just swore in her own witness. I mean, I don't know. That might
Is that
be
legit?
I don't know. Nobody said anything. They just asked. Like,
Is it
was
like
normal.
pinky swear? Like wink, wink. Like you're gonna tell the truth, right?
Okay, so quick search says a prosecutor doesn't typically. It's usually a clerk or the judge, right?
Yeah, it's usually the bailiff, the clerk, or the judge is usually the one who does it.
Oh, Pegleg says
Okay.
lawyers often swear in their own witnesses.
All right.
Okay.
And Pegleg's an attorney, so
right.
Yeah, lawyers can, but
that means he never lies, right?
Well, with the prosecutor as an attorney.
Yeah.
So
okay.
All right,
we'll allow it.
We'll allow. Yeah, let's just move on.
Please
Overruled.
state your first and last name, please.
Name is Officer Leon Covington.
Okay. And how are you currently employed?
I am a police officer with the Clayton County Police Department.
And on April the 11th, 2023, were you in fact employed with the Clayton County Police Department?
Yes, ma'am.
And being employed with the Clayton County Police Department, are you post-certified?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it give you the authority to issue citations?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have arrest powers?
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to draw your attention to this incident date, April the 11th, 2023. Did you respond to 6726 Terra Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that located here in Clayton County, Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
And on this particular day, why were you dispatched to that incident location?
I was dispatched there in reference to a disturbance call.
Okay. And did you make contact with anyone at that location?
Yes, ma'am. I made contact with the property manager of the location.
Okay. And do you recall the property manager's name?
I believe Miss Tyra Bailey.
Okay. And after speaking with Miss Bailey, what did you do? What did you learn during your investigation?
I learned that the defendant traveled over to the leasing office in reference to his residence being burglarized. He went to the location yelling and cursing and was asked to leave by security personnel, at which point the victim stated that.
So I'm gonna object to the victim's statements and on the basis of hearsay at this point.
Your Honor, I believe this witness is available. Miss Tyra Bailey is available.
Overruled.
Go ahead, officer.
I'm sorry, I think where I left off. Yes, so he was asked to leave by security personnel, at which point the victim advised me that the defendant was issued a criminal trespass warning from the property prior to the incident.
Okay. And did you make contact?
All right, lawyers in the chat. I've got another question. So, the defense attorney just objected to hearsay because the officers testified about something the victim said, and the prosecutor said the victim's here and available. How does that just pass hearsay? Don't they have to ask her that question? So it just overrules the hearsay argument because she's there? I don't know. I just feel like that was they shortcutted a couple things. Just asking the attorneys in the chat, that's all.
With Mr. McNabb on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at that point, did you make an arrest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the basis for your arrest?
So he was charged with criminal trespass. I verified that he was issued a criminal trespass warning through Clayton County database. Also, the defendant admitted that he was told to not come to the leasing office.
Okay. Thank you, Officer Covington. No further questions from the state at this time.
All right. So discussion in the chat about the whole hearsay thing. All right. So I guess then why is it different than when she objected previously and was overruled? In her objection, she said, unless the defendant is planning to testify, because I think what she was getting at, right, was she wants to be able to cross-examine.
Yeah, the chat pretty much said that judge got that one wrong.
Yeah.
So I think we're all on the same page that judge got that one wrong, but she got the last one right.
Okay.
I think judge got that one way wrong. Okay, yeah, the first one.
All right, Slide, get your gavel, bang it.
Okay, Pete, you mind staying on? Yeah, we're good, right? Okay. I'm gonna ask you some questions, officer.
Okay.
Sorry, this is a little different.
Okay.
So the criminal trespass warning that you're referring to, did you see a copy of it?
Yes, sir.
And where did it indicate that he was banned from going?
From the property at 6726 Terra Boulevard.
That's the entire apartment complex?
I can't recall if it was the leasing office or was it the entire complex.
Okay. But you stated that you learned that Mr. McNabb went to the leasing office because he was upset about his apartment on that property being broken into. Isn't that what you testified to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from that, it would indicate that he was currently living or had an apartment at that apartment.
I'm going to object, Your Honor, to speculation.
He can answer if he knows. He would have taken his address, I presume.
Did you learn during the course of your investigation that Mr. McNabb lived at that apartment complex?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it common, or in your experience as a police officer, that someone can be issued a criminal trespass warning from their own apartment complex?
Yes, in the case that if they have issues with management personnel, usually management would issue them a criminal trespass warning to prevent them from going to the leasing office.
Okay. All right. No further questions at this time.
All right, any redirect?
No, Your Honor. This.
Okay, may this officer be excused?
I could just hold this officer.
All right.
Just holding all the officers.
Your Honor, at this time, the state will call Ms. Tyra Bailey.
All right, Ms. Bailey, may I see you, please?
Sorry, I'm trying to move my camera around so I can turn it on.
Okay, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right, Ms. Potter, your witness.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Bailey, may you please state your first and last name and then spell your first and last name, please.
Tyra Bailey, Y-R-A, last name B-A-I-L-E-Y.
And how are you currently employed, ma'am?
I'm a property manager.
And where are you a property manager at what location?
would prefer to not give my current location as it is still
Oh, thanks, JoJo. I'm sure Jedi and Rich appreciate that.
in the Clayton County area. And yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if that's allowed, but I don't want to give my actual current location.
Well, where are you you're not comfortable with providing the
Okay, let me ask this.
specific
Are you
apartment
still at the
community.
apartment? Are you still at the apartments you were at when this incident happened?
No, ma'am, but I am still at an apartment community in Clayton County.
Okay, just tell me where you were when this happened.
Oh, I was at an apartment community called Woods on Terra Boulevard.
And thank you, Your Honor. And how long were you employed with Woods on Terra?
With that company for 2 years.
For 2 years. Okay. And so on this particular date, April the 11th, 2023, were you the one to call 911? And why?
Had a previous run-in with Mr. McNabb, and even prior to me being employed there, I had viewed video and been advised that he had a criminal trespass.
Jedi, do you know who Yaddle is?
Yes.
Okay.
And no.
Against the leasing office. My first initial contact with him, I wasn't aware of that. So my supervisor and my assistant at the time ended up showing me the video and saying he's not allowed here because he had pulled a gun on the staff prior to me coming there. So the next time he came, we did advise him that he was not allowed to be in the leasing office. It was only for the leasing office, not the entire community.
Okay. And on this particular day that you called the police, what happened?
So the apartment was essentially deemed abandoned because the power had been off, and we found that squatters kept going into the apartment, but there was no power and it was deplorable. There was raccoons and animals in there. And so the first time I had encountered Mr. McNabb, we had locked it because the door was wide open. So I had changed the locks and gave him a key. And then the second time he came, he said, well, somebody broke in again. I immediately locked the leasing office door because you could see the parking lot from the top where it was above the stairs. And so when I saw him pulling up, he has a very distinctive truck and it's a loudspeaker. So I locked the door and told all my staff, don't leave. But as he came up the stairs, the security guard came from around the building and told him, you're not allowed to be here. But then the security guard went and unlocked the door to tell me, hey, he's saying somebody broke into his apartment. At that point, Mr. McNabb basically tried to push past the security guard and enter into the leasing office. And I'm telling the security guard, shut the door, shut the door, shut the door. And then he finally got the door closed and we locked it again. And then I called the police.
Okay. And is that when the police arrived?
Correct. When the police arrived, I went down the stairs and I did advise the officer that he had a CT from the leasing office and he was not allowed to be there. And he did talk to Mr. McNabb, and then he came back and he said, well, he's saying somebody broke into his apartment. And I said, he needs to contact the police, not come to the leasing office calling me names, yelling and screaming and pushing past the security guard to try to get, well, I can't speculate, but to try to get inside.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Bailey. No further questions.
Mr. Lynch?
So, Ms. Bailey, you wouldn't disagree with me. I'm not talking about the leasing office, but I'm talking about as far as that apartment, that my client had a right to be in the apartment on April 11th, 2023. Right? He hadn't been
Absolutely. He had a right to be in his apartment. Absolutely.
Okay. And you don't dispute that there had been a break-in well, let me ask you this. it was relayed to you by the security guard that he was coming up there to attempt to address the fact that he believed his apartment had been broken into. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
And you also testified that the security guard actually opened the door and kind of relayed that message that he was there to raise concerns about his apartment being broken into. Isn't that?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, did he enter inside the leasing office at that point?
Yes, he did. He like the security guard, when he opened the door, he was like sideways and he's like, hey, he's coming up here because he thinks somebody broke into his apartment. And Mr. McNabb came through over top of him essentially and was like, you know, yelling explicitives and y'all are going in my apartment and all of this.
Okay. And then did he
Explicitives.
leave after he made those statements?
No, he was there when the police pulled up.
Inside the leasing office?
No,
So he did leave from inside the leasing office then?
yes. Mhm.
Did he do that at?
He didn't make it, he never made it all the way into the leasing office. He was just like reaching over and so like his arm was made it in like half his head.
So
But the
just
security
his
guard was
arm-
standing there as a
I'm
barrier.
sorry. So he didn't actually make it all the way inside the leasing office. He basically was trying to get through the door and he was making statements. Maybe his arm came through the threshold and he was making statements to you in regards to him being upset about what he thought was going on with his apartment. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
Okay.
That's a very less
Um,
aggressive way of saying it.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
Yes, Miss Bailey, if you can recall the woods on Terra, where is the leasing office?
Leasing office, I would say, is mid the community. So when you come down a long driveway, we called it, and then you take a left and the leasing office is there in the center of the community.
So is it a standalone building or is within apartments?
Nope, it's a standalone building.
Okay, and how far, if you can recall, where his apartment was in the leasing office?
His apartment was in the very back of the community. So the driveway, it goes all the way to the back, and literally the leasing office is like the middle point of the community. And then when you go all the way to the back, his apartment was in the very back of the community.
And is there parking spaces designated just to the leasing office?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. When you turn into the leasing office parking lot, that's only there's no apartments up there, and you have to go upstairs to get to the leasing office. It's a flight of stairs up, so it's even elevated from the parking lot.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. No further questions from this witness, Your Honor.
All right. May this witness be excused? Any recross?
No, Judge.
All right. Ma'am, you're free to go at this time. If you want to stay and hear the remainder of the hearing, you can just mute your device, okay? All right. All right, does the state have any additional witnesses?
Say.
All right. I did not want to pause it while she was testifying because the feedback in her audio was starting to get to me. It's like, I just want to get through this. Just want to get through it. So let's go.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to say. What do you think, Jedi?
I mean, I love how the defense attorney really broke it down into a very civil conversation where his arm just merely crossed a threshold and he was upset and was expressing that. And whereas, like, I'm totally picturing Jack Nicholson, like, reaching through, like, bloodied face, like, ah. So, yeah, well done, defense attorney, to make it seem like it was not a big hoo-ha.
You still there, Rich?
Yeah, I'm here, mate. Yeah, I thought that property owner or manager, she came across really well. Put across.
She told it like it was.
Yeah, explicitives. I like that word.
Explosives.
That didn't help to that kind of downplayed the whole scenario as well. I mean, if she said expletives and vulgar language, it would have had more of an impact. But explicitives, doesn't sound that bad.
It's fair.
We better get to see some ceiling fans there, Colin.
I know. We're massive lack of ceiling fans
Jonesing.
in this one. I'm letting you guys all down.
Tragic.
It is tragic. I mean, why don't they have ceiling fans in the court? Jeez.
Has no additional witnesses, Your Honor, for this motion 2022 CR 00704.
All right, is there a motion for the other case, or is this encompasses both?
It's for both, Your Honor.
All right, does the defense have any witnesses that they wish to present at this time, or any evidence to present?
Look, I don't believe so, Judge, but can I just ask clarification as far as both motions that are to be heard today? Has the state presented all the witnesses, or are we going to do another motion after this?
I know. First, let me ask this: are there 3 cases pending, or only 2 cases pending?
So, Your Honor, there are 5 cases pending. So I filed 2 motions to revoke bond, Your Honor, but they have the same witnesses.
Okay, that's fine.
The exact same witnesses would testify to the same information for both, because these incidents happened after he was arrested on both of these. Well, the battery family violence happened after the 2024.
So I got the April 11, 2023, and then August 17, 2023. And are y'all going to testify about the next case in the series, or are these the only 2 cases I'm going to hear about?
These are the only 2 cases, Your Honor, that the state is moving to revoke based on the information that's provided. We didn't file a motion to revoke bond.
Cincinnati, best city on earth. Prove me wrong. You can't. I win. See, that's how it works.
That was quick.
Yeah, you can't prove me wrong. Cincinnati's amazing.
On for, let me see, 2024 CR 0. No, we did on that one. Yeah. So
you did or did not?
We did not. On the simple assault, we filed a motion to revoke bond. In the simple battery, we filed a motion to revoke bond. The motion to revoke bond from the simple battery and terroristic threats, the case motion for the case August 17, 2023, and also the April the 11th, 2023. Those 2 cases.
What I'm getting at is there's only one, if the case has been argued, there's only one bond revocation that I need to consider. And that's the bond that existed from the April 11, 2023 case that was then violated by getting charges on the August 17, 2023 case. Is that what the state
November 29, 2021 case, the state filed a motion to revoke bond.
But I haven't heard anything about November 20. I haven't heard anything about that, or even that he had case pending.
One moment, I'm just trying to get my.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is the only thing before the court is there's one violation of bond, because the bond that he had for the first case would have been the bond he violated to get the second case. Now, if there's an additional bond violation, I'm not hearing that there's a third case or a fourth case.
Okay, Your Honor. So the state filed a motion to revoke bond 2022 CR 00704. The incident happened November the 29th, 2021, Your Honor. That is the very first case that he had a bond on. Those bond conditions was on December 6th, 2021, where it was to stay away directly or indirectly from Shakira Hutcherson.
What I'm saying is you haven't put.
Yeah, the Ron White bit on the Cincinnati chili was good. I will tell you this. No one in Cincinnati calls Cincinnati the chili capital of the world, though. No one claims that. Cincinnati chili it's a different style of chili. Not everyone likes it. So, yeah, so I reject the premise on the start of Ron White's bit. I don't think anyone in Cincinnati said that. He was just trying to make it sound better for his joke. But it was good. The goat and the onion. Yeah, probably could beat Cincinnati chili. Yeah, just saying.
That on the record. You filed it based on that, which would have meant that the April 11th would have been a bond revocation, would have been a bond violation, and the August 17th would have been a second bond violation.
Correct,
But
Your Honor.
I haven't heard anything on the record about this November. So you haven't given me that a bond existed or he was arrested and
Well,
he had
Your
a
Honor,
bond.
so when the motion to revoke bond was filed, those witnesses wouldn't be here because I am
Well, no.
bringing.
What I'm saying to you is you haven't established that November bond existed. You haven't put anything on the record about a bond existing so that the April would have been a revocation event. You get what I'm saying? You got to first establish that he had a bond in November of whatever. You
That
haven't
is
put
correct, Your
anything.
Honor, and that's, yes, and that is part of the record that the state filed in their motions that was added to exhibit.
Okay, but so the motion and what we're hearing, you haven't put it on the hearing record is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I understand, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, I get that. That's why I want to be clear, because what the transcript is what people are going to look at. They'll look at if there's ever appellate review, they'll look at the record, but they'll look at the transcript to see where the argument was made that there's two bond revocations. I can't just say, okay, well, I read.
Yeah, the defense attorney is not paying any attention to this. He's talking to another defense attorney, probably about another case. I can't see this being okay. The judge is telling the prosecutor what she needs to do. Like, hello, judge, I'm here. You can't do that.
Well, his client's kind of looking at him like, come on, man.
I know. It's like, are you paying attention? Like, I'm about to go to
Right.
jail. So,
Well-
hey, guy.
The other thing I was wondering is why does the defense attorney have his phone? Is he watching the Zoom on his phone?
I think he's watching my channel right now.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
He's chatting. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's breaking news. I think that's actually Bodyguard.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Bodyguard, is that you?
The report, and because I got to give Mr. Lynch a chance to respond to it.
Correct, Your Honor. So the state's first pending motion from 2022 CR 00704, the court the court ordered on December the 6th, 2021, and it was filed on December the 6th, 2021. Your Honor, the state will ask the court to take judicial notice based on this being a part of the record. This is with the clerk's office, and it was filed by at the time Magistrate Court Judge George. In this case.
All right, and those conditions said what?
In those conditions, Your Honor, the defendant was charged with simple battery and also terroristic threat. Your Honor, those conditions, it stated, stay away absolutely directly or indirectly by mail, email, pager, telephone, or third party from the person, home, workplace, and immediate family members of any witnesses included but not limited to Sha'Carrier Hutcherson. And I apologize, Your Honor, if I'm pronouncing Sha'Carrier incorrectly. And then his second bond condition, the defendant must not violate any laws while on bond. That was ordered on December the 6th, 2021.
All right. That's what I was trying to get at, because for what you presented with the officers, there was only one bond violation, but that establishing first that there was a bond existing from 2021 now gives me two bond violations to consider. All right, Mr. Lynch.
Well, I would object to the court taking judicial notice, but I do see that as Exhibit A to the motion, they did attach the bond that we're talking about here. I would point out, though, that if the court considers that being introduced, that this document is not signed by the defendant, it's not dated. So I guess, is this my time to argue, Judge?
No, this was establishing that I'm clear on what the record is.
Okay.
It has been admitted as an exhibit to the motion. I'm fine with that. I just wanted to get it on the record here during the hearing that there was another bond existing. Now, it's because it's part of.
Hey, we have the Ohio River. That is a large body of water. I mean, I don't know
Can
what.
you see across it?
It depends how much pollution's in Kentucky at the moment. But
Yeah,
sometimes.
no.
And rivers don't count. You were probably typing that as I was saying it.
The record, I don't have a problem with acknowledging it and taking judicial notice, but the reason I wanted to also read the actual bond conditions was because we have run into that situation where I don't know what magistrate was doing, but there was bond conditions that did not also say that you can't have additional criminal charges filed. So I wanted to make sure that we were clear on everything that was.
Yeah, have you ever been to Cleveland? If you've ever been to Cleveland, that makes sense how a river could catch on fire. And as a proud Cincinnatian, we don't claim Cleveland. We don't. Columbus is barely part of the state as well. We're kind of our own little area. So yeah.
That it was consistent with what I understand the bond conditions to be. All right. So now the state doesn't have any other witnesses to bring. The defense doesn't have any other witnesses, so I will hear argument.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, so the state filed a motion to revoke bond in case 2022 CR 00704. As the state requested, Your Honor, the state has requested that this court take judicial notice of the defendant's bond conditions. Those bond conditions, which is part of Exhibit A on the court.
You're getting really close to the line. Isn't that special? I haven't timed someone out for making a comment like that ever. But you're getting close to being the first.
I'm unfamiliar with fires on rivers, so I typed in Cleveland River into Google and it auto-filled fire. So yeah, that's not a good reputation.
Yeah, that's Cleveland though. That's 5 hours away from Cincinnati. Don't link us to that.
This motion to revoke bond. It was ordered on December the 6th, 2021 by the Honorable Judge George. As the state, in the order, it states, shall stay away absolutely directly or indirectly by mail, email, pager, telephone, third party from the person, home, workplace, and immediate family members of any witness, including but not limited to Shaquria Hutcherson. SHAYQUREIA Hutcherson HUTCHISON. And lastly, another condition was the defendant must not violate any laws while on bond. Your Honor, you had an opportunity to hear two separate cases in which the defendant did display some type of violent nature. In one of his cases, Your Honor, you heard from Trooper Angelus, who indicated that he did arrive on scene and spoke to a Shantaria Hutcherson and a Shaquria Hutcherson. Your Honor, one being the sister and one being the defendant's child's child's mother. Also, you've heard from the officer that there were injuries that he observed himself. He indicated that one of the witnesses had I just want to make sure I have that correctly. He indicated that one of the witnesses had a cut to her hand and another witness had a bruise to her forearm. He did indicate that he spoke with the defendant, Mr. McNabb, which is a violation of his bond conditions. One, him being there and in contact with Shaquria Hutcherson. And then two, Your Honor, he picked up new charges for battery, family violence, and cruelty to children. As the court heard, there were minor children there, a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old child. Furthermore, Your Honor, there was an instance where there was another case where Mr.
If we're talking about a case that hasn't been introduced, are we getting into a case that we didn't deal with on the record here?
There were two cases we spoke about.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. I didn't mean
And not only, Your Honor, did he pick up this case on August the 17th, 2023,
Jedi,
Yeah.
I need to walk away for a minute. I'll be right back. You're in charge. Don't let anyone
Okay.
get out of control, aka Rich.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
that was the first case that the court did hear. However, he continued to pick up a case even before that, September the 20th, 2022. In this case, Your Honor, you heard from the actual victim in this case, Miss Bailey, who was at the time the property manager. She testified that, to her knowledge, Mr. McNabb received a criminal trespassing warning from the actual leasing office because he had an outstanding case where he is her understanding, her knowledge that he pulled out a gun and threatened someone at the leasing office. So therefore, he was told that he could not come back. She did testify that the leasing office is not the same location as his apartment. His apartment is in the back. The leasing office is standalone, and that is another case, Your Honor. So while out on bond from 2021, the defendant has picked up 2 other cases which is violent in nature. One, a battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, and also a criminal trespass in which the victim did state that he was criminally trespassed from that leasing office, where he began to shout and scream profanity. And so for that, Your Honor, the state will ask this court to revoke the defendant's bond.
Yeah, I should think so.
All right, Mr.
Yeah.
Lynch.
So, Judge, I'm going to get into the factual allegations and discuss the 2 cases that the state has alleged to be violations of his bond. But first, I do want to speak a little bit about Mr. McNabb. So Mr. McNabb is 33 years old.
Before we get into the defense part of this, MB, thank you so much for the PayPal. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. Thank you so much, MB. And someone said they were from Cleveland. Kalina. Yeah, I actually I don't have a problem with Cleveland. I was just joking. I've had nothing but fun in Cleveland. I've been there a dozen times. I'm just talking. Just talking. I do enjoy Cleveland.
At least you're not in New Jersey.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, I've got a thing about New Jersey.
He does have 4 children with Chartria Hutchinson, I believe. He is currently working. He works at a warehouse where he's worked for the past, it's been over a year. He does order fulfillment. Judge, I would also point out that since the August 2023 incident, he has had no arrests. There have been no further allegations of him violating any bonds. So I point that out first, Judge, to kind of get back into the allegations as far as the battery family violence case. So this, I believe the officer testified that this is the location where he was living with his mother's, the children of his mother, Chartria Hutchinson. He didn't have a previous case with Chartria Hutchinson. I understand that there was a previous case with Shakia Hutchinson, her sister, but he's at the residence of his baby's mother with his children at the time. And I think
do you understand that if Shakia was named on that's why I asked her to read into the record, the bond conditions. If Shakia was named, then a close family member of hers would be her sister, and he would have had to stay away from her too, unless he got a modification of bond.
And I understand that, Judge. However, Your Honor, and I understand the point that you're making. However, there was no evidence about who came to the location first, whether he was there and the sister showed up. So the court doesn't have that evidence that he, intentionally placed himself in a position with Shakia Hutchinson, who he had actually been given bond conditions to stay away from. Additionally, Judge, that Exhibit A with the bond conditions listed, I would note that it is not signed or dated. So there
You just glossed right over what I said. You know that, right?
No, I didn't mean to gloss over it, Judge. I thought
Shateria is the person on the December 6, 2021 bond. Is that correct?
correct.
Then Lord, this is difficult. Then Shatria would have been her close family member that he's not to have contact with. If he goes back and lives with Shatria, I don't care if that is his baby mama. She's a sister of the woman who has a bond condition.
Well, Judge, and I understand that point. However, again, the bond conditions that were allegedly, presented to him, there hasn't been evidence that he actually was put on notice of that because there's no signature there, Judge. And, that is something that I feel like would need to be spelled out explicitly.
That's crap.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, the defendant didn't sign it, so therefore it didn't happen? Come on. I don't think that's how that works, and I'm certainly not an attorney. But pretty sure they go over that when your bond is set.
Yeah. And MB, he's starting to sweat. He's like, we're gonna spend this much time, and you're gonna give me this much time to defend my client, and I'm about to lose this case. He's like, no, I thought I had this. I had this. Only his arm is guilty.
Because whether or not it has to be, it certainly should be, because Mr. McNabb is a provider for his children. He does work. And, I would argue that there needs to be very definite, concrete notice if he is going to be in a position where he's not allowed to have contact with the mother of his children, because
other than actually write it down. Because if you've never been to a first appearance hearing, we're talking about sometimes up to 20 and 30 people in the room. The judge is going person by person. We're not taking a deep dive, but on the paperwork, it says exactly what it says, that you're not to have contact with the family members of these individuals.
Well, I understand that, Judge, but I don't know if the client can anticipate that would apply to the mother of his children.
Okay, go ahead.
What's this other jackass doing? Really? He's like in the middle of talking to the judge, and you're going to be pulling on his shirt.
Yeah, he's another public defender, so he's probably listening, and I don't know if he can just step up there and like kind of give him like something to say. I don't know if that's allowed.
Oh, is he trying to bail? Well, if he's talking about this case, I guess.
That's what I'm assuming he's doing.
I thought he was just being like Susie impatient, like, I gotta talk to you right now.
I've got a case. I gotta go right now. Hurry this
Right?
up, man. You've been taking an hour.
Like, I have to poop. Can I be excused?
Right? This should be a 15-minute case. He's going to jail. Just let him go. Stop.
Right?
Additionally, Judge, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Mr. McNabb is certainly presumed innocent on that case, and I don't think there's evidence that he intentionally violated that bond, Judge. And even, Judge, even if you consider that a violation just based on him being around the mother of his children, Judge, I would, setting the criminal trespass aside from Judge, I would ask the court to consider alternatives to revoking his bond, considering it is understandable that a man who is taking care of 4 children with a woman, and that they're actively raising the children together and cooperating, it's understandable that if it wasn't explicitly stated you cannot have contact with the mother of your children, that he wouldn't just, and I understand it's written there on the paper, Judge, but I'm also asking you to consider the realities of how people live and family dynamics, Judge. It's a great surprise to many defendants that these orders that they're given would apply not just to the alleged victim, but also to, you know, their family members and people who they have to deal with on a regular basis in the rearing and the support for children, Judge. And I would also ask you to consider the fact that Mr. McNabb is currently employed. He has been employed for over a year at the same facility, Judge. He hasn't
Whole year.
got any additional charges since 2023. You asked him via Zoom to come in here and appear before the court. He has done this. He's not running away from these cases, Judge. He only asks that you allow him to remain out on bond and be able to face these cases individually. The other allegation,
Kellen, what does he want? Does he want a cookie for showing up? Does he want a cookie for keeping a job for a whole year? Like, good for you. You know, you're doing the bare minimum. Awesome. Like, I mean, I don't know. What do you want from me here? Like, come on.
He's
Public
trying to
defender.
He's trying to keep him out of jail. You know, like he has a job. He's taking care of his kids. He's held his job for a year. He showed up on his own when last week you pretty much said you're going to jail, and he still showed up anyways. So he's not a flight risk, is what he's saying. So he's going through like, don't revoke him. He's going to come back to court. You know, this is eye opening. Like that's what he's trying to say. Instead of, you know, just using one or two paragraphs, he decided to use the entire book.
Yeah. Well, and why? Like, is the original charge? Did I hear that incorrectly? But wasn't there like it was like family violence, correct?
I believe so, because he had a no contact order against with somebody.
Right.
So yeah.
So he has I mean, I'm great like with like keep people out of jail so that they can raise their kids and all this and that. Fine. But if he has a history of family violence, really? Like, I don't know. You kind of give up the ability to have things your way with respect to being around your family. Just saying.
Right. Wasn't the defense's argument that, he did these things, but it wasn't written that he couldn't go near the mother of his children, but that's who it was. The restraining order was against, right?
No, the restraining order was against. I think the restraining order was against the mother. Was the sister? Okay, the restraining order was against the sister. He was living with the mother of his children.
Yeah.
But so there was verbiage in the restraining order that you can't have contact with the family members because that prevents third party contact. So,
right.
So I mean, I guess they've already agreed that he lived with her, so that's a violation. So the attorney is just trying to keep him out of jail right now.
And they're going to gloss over the whole owning a gun thing.
I mean, I think that's one of the 5 cases, but that's where they were trying to. Well, the defense attorney kept saying, like, which violations are we here on? What am I defending my client on?
Yeah.
Because the prosecutor's like, well, I filed 2 motions on 2 of the 5 cases. So that's why there's a lot of confusion, because there's 5 cases.
Well, and that's also not looking good for your client either.
No, it's not. No. That's why he's in person. That's why
maybe he belongs in jail.
That's why Judge was going to offer him the county Uber to come to come to court, because it's like, no, you have 5 cases out, man. You're coming in person. Like this is ridiculous. That's what set this whole thing up. Larry, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. My client is shocked. Shocked, I'm telling you, that only 5 new cases would cause his bond to be revoked. Yeah, he thought he had at least 12. 5, man.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
It was a criminal trespass, Judge. You know, this is at the apartment complex where he lived. He was raising a concern with his living space. I'm not, and I understand you could call it a technical violation of him going into the leasing office, but I don't know, he has got to try to address the fact that his apartment has been broken into in some manner. And that's all the evidence supported that that's what he was doing. He didn't make it all the way into the leasing office. Ms. Ponder's characterized his behavior as violent, but he didn't attack anyone. He didn't, it seems that he stopped at the doorway and didn't, there's no indication that he was attempting to initiate physical contact. And again, that's, something that would not necessarily, he may not have thought about when he's returning to his place of residence, his apartment, and trying to address concerns with the fact that his apartment had apparently been broken into, and even the leasing officer testified that his locks were changed, Judge. So, he obviously needs to get access to his apartment and needs to have these issues concerned. I don't know if there was ever any sort of alternative mechanism for him to address these concerns with the leasing office that, didn't involve him going into the leasing office, Judge. And again, Judge, I understand magistrate court, there's a lot of cases, but that exhibit is not signed or dated. No additional evidence was presented as other than that paper that was filed with no signature. There's no additional evidence of how that notice was relayed to him, whether he got a copy of that, whether that was presented to him. That was not presented, Judge. But my main argument, Judge, I understand that there's several cases, Judge, and ultimately these cases are going to be resolved. And if he's convicted on one or more of them, Your Honor, obviously will be in a position to evaluate all the facts and all the considerations and issue a sentence. But I would ask that instead of putting him in jail now, which would destroy his ability to support his family, to keep his job, I would ask that you instead admonish him about what bond conditions do exist. If Your Honor wishes to impose additional bond conditions, but allow him to remain free unless there are additional bond conditions so that he can have his day in court and present his defense, Judge.
And Your Honor, may I?
Yes,
close?
ma'am.
Thank you, Michelle, for the $5 super sticker. I appreciate it. And yeah, MB, that was long and painful. I actually
That was
started
long and meandering, and dude, spit it out.
Yeah, I just stop already. Just stop. I kept picking up my phone because in my brain, when I get bored, I just grab my phone. I'm like, no, you're streaming. Stop doing it. But I kept doing it. Like, man, I am so ready for this argument to be over.
Yeah, you did a good job of looking super desperate and kind of just kept talking until all the bad stuff kind of faded into the distance. And it's like, yeah, this guy's all right. And now, yeah, I'm starting to think, just let him go out for a week, see what happens, see how he gets on.
No. I'm team send his ass to jail.
Okay, well,
he should have been paying attention. He should have thought what, and don't act like him going to the leasing office was not like a violent altercation. The only reason he didn't get in was because security was blocking him at the door. You're telling me that he was, keeping a appropriate, bubble distance from the security officer while somehow managing to get part of his head and his arm over the threshold? Nah.
Yeah, and the defense was like, he didn't knowingly break the conditions. But like, yeah, if it's
That's
in a
bullshit.
different building, you kind of know what you're doing at that point.
I'm calling bullshit.
Colin, can you can do polls in the chat, can't you?
Yeah.
Okay, poll. Jail or extra jail?
Oh. I have a feeling everyone's going to say jail, but I'll do it. Let's see. Here, I'll at least play the video while I'm making the poll.
Your Honor, so regarding the bond modification, I'm sorry, the order for bond, as the court is aware at that time, it was during COVID or during the pandemic in which they were not giving utensils in order to write, where magistrate court, Your Honor, was speaking to them verbally, and at that point, they will understand. Your Honor, even if the court saying, hey, there was no signature, or if counsel is arguing that there is still IOLA factors that this court can take in consideration that doesn't require even bond conditions. And four of those factors, Your Honor, is whether one of those is whether he's a threat to witnesses or he's a risk of committing another crime. And I submit to Your Honor, Mr. McNabb has been out in custody since 2021. And every year since, except this year or last year, he has not picked up a new case. And Your Honor, it's not just traffic offenses, but these are cases where there are victims associated with these cases. Even if, as counsel did not want to go into detail and harping on the fact that he was around his sister, his child's mother, or he was around the sister of his child's mother, he failed to mention that the officers indicate that there were some bruisings to both individuals, but not that his bond conditions was not to violate or pick up any new offenses while out on bond. Not to say that he is found guilty for any of these, Your Honor, but more so him just picking up those charges. As you've heard from Ms. Bailey, Your Honor, as I will indicate, she stated that he was trespassed from the leasing office because the prior case in which the defendant had a firearm and made threatening statements. So not only did she fear to the extent where she had to lock her doors of a business, where she is a manager of, she is here today, she testified, and she's not even working at that location. And she still appeared, Your Honor, before this court to tell the court exactly what happened on that day. I believe when counsel makes reference to the fact that he is a father and he's a provider, he should have thought about it, that, Your Honor, before he picked up new cases or before he picked up those violent offenses in front of his children, that 7-year-old and 9-year-old child that was present at the time that he picked up those cases against their auntie. Your Honor, so at this time, I will ask this court to revoke the defendant's bond.
Yeah, you will.
Judge, the state indicated that the IOLA factors include, threat or risk of committing additional crimes, but I believe it's risk of committing felonies, additional felonies, Judge. But I understand the concern. Again, Judge, I would just fall back on our request to the court, what we've argued as far as
okay. The issue that I have with this is that, well, first, I wish that this had been brought to my attention with respect to a bond revocation much earlier, because definitely time plays a factor in all of these things. But the thing is, I don't know how you back to back, like, you got to be clueless to not either read your bond conditions. I know I've been a magistrate, so I know they're telling you what your bond conditions are. You get a copy of your bond conditions at the jail. You can get a copy when you leave by going to the clerk's office. You know you have bond conditions. So it's incumbent upon you to know what they are. What your argument rests on is, I'm supposed to accept the fact that he was too dumb to go figure out what his bond conditions meant. And then he continues, he got either an anger issue, something's going on. I mean, because he seems to make contact with the police way more often than a lot of other people.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if the defendant spoke up right now? I'm like, Your Honor, I'm too dumb. I'm gonna go with that option.
Right. I mean, she summed it up pretty well. Like, you want me to believe that he's just too dumb?
Yeah, I am. I'm too dumb. I'm taking that way out.
Come on, man. Well, and I think it goes back to the whole personal responsibility thing. Like, you had a court appearance. That happened when bond was set. If you weren't paying attention, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
You are the one responsible for acting like an adult and adhering to your bond conditions. He clearly failed to do that. Case closed.
Done. Okay, bye.
Bye.
And while I do want the man to be able to support his children, I don't have any evidence that he actually is supporting his children, other than what you said. When you have a violent event that occurs in front of children, I don't understand, like, he's not going to be father of the year by any means.
I was young.
And the fact that, you know, you get trespass from the leasing office at your apartment, even if his apartment was burglarized, Mr. Lynch, that's the police respond to that.
Yeah,
What do
like,
you
why
think
is he
the
going to the
leasing
leasing
office was
office?
going to do? Other than, hey,
Right.
you know, my apartment got burglarized, as that happened before. But I don't know that Mr. This is really problematic on several levels. It's problematic from the standpoint of the state because he's got 5 cases that I know of, and the 3 y'all arguing about the bond conditions for the first one and the 2 that came after that. I'm just really just getting to know about them, which I get it. And then he's got a criminal trespass from the place where he lives. I just don't understand. On both sides, there are issues. The only thing that makes me not want to violate his bond is that he's actually working and has a job. But you know, I don't have any indication from anybody that he's actually taking care of these kids. I don't have any indication that, you know, you don't fight in front of your children if you actually taking care of your kids.
Judge, and I understand that. I mean, and I know I can't.
I don't know what other admonishment you want me to give him, Mr. Lynch. I give admonishments every time I talk to him. I know the judges in magistrate court give admonishments. They tell you what the bond conditions mean. Unless it's changed drastically, they even tell you what the possible repercussions are of violating your bond conditions. If you violate your bond condition, you could get your bond revoked. You could come back to jail and stay in jail until such time as you resolve all of your cases. And so I don't know, like, how much more we got to tell Mr. McNabb. There's somebody who said if you want to hide something from folk, put it in a book or put it on paper, and they're not gonna read it. And I feel that way about bond conditions. If there's nothing more important to how you conduct your life, it's bond conditions. Read it, understand it. If you don't understand it, ask questions. But people get locked up and they don't ever think about, well, you know, I got bond conditions. They don't think about anything that means, and it's written out. And so I don't know that we need to keep using dumb as an excuse.
And, you know, Judge, I wasn't certainly not meaning to imply that Mr. McNabb is dumb. I don't think that is the case.
Well, not willing to read
she's
his
saying
bond
it.
conditions and get an understanding of.
Right? No,
She's telling him. You're
we're
dumb.
we're not implying that he's dumb. I think he just proved it on his own.
Yeah, and it's on the record now as well.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
The dumb defendant.
What they mean.
Your Honor, I think that's state's position is that's an excuse. After one case, that's fine, Your Honor, but he has multiple cases before the court. And as soon as I learned about this, Your Honor, I myself filed a motion to revoke bond because of how egregious in nature, in my opinion, it is. But I don't think that the court should just slap Mr. McNabb hand on the wrist because the state didn't catch it in time, or the fact that he has a job when he knew he had a job then. And so I can understand one case give grace, but he has multiple cases. So it's as if he's just turning his nose up to the system, hoping that, oh, I have kids and I have a job. Please keep me out.
Yeah.
You're about to be given
All right,
cookies.
at this time, Mr.
Oh, Jenna, what kind of cookies did you make?
Kissy cookies.
Okay.
They're peanut butter cookies with a kiss on top.
I got you.
Aw. Who are we kidding? I don't bake cookies.
Pizza,
Well,
yeah, but not
well,
cookies.
I don't know what I'm gonna do now because I just promised everyone that you made cookies.
Going back to what the prosecutor said, it's like you get one chance. You can do a terrible crime and just say that one chance. Once you're done, and that's it. But you don't get 2 times.
Yeah,
you get let
And
off
he's
for the
at
first
5.
time. Yeah,
6, including the original, right?
yeah.
Wow.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Poll
I just
says
added
the
poll.
truth.
Yeah, 61% jail, 31% just for the cookies. 6% of people said no Joe. So, but a lot of people were saying jail and cookies. So, Jedi, you better start baking.
I'll leave it to my other half, Therina. She'll take care of it.
All right. As long as we get cookies, I don't think anyone's going to complain who makes them.
McNabb will be taken into custody. Bond will be revoked.
Judge, could I ask you to reconsider? Mr. McNabb certainly is presenting himself to you. I've argued he hasn't caught additional cases.
He's getting the cuffs
Judge,
on.
and he's willing to comply with any
Well,
additional.
I mean, how many more would he need, Mr. Lynch? He got 5. I'm considering 3 in front of me. But I mean, really?
He's still arguing his case, and his client's in cuffs.
The client's getting cuffed. He's already gone.
He's already gone.
Yeah.
Like, please reconsider. The guy's like, he's already through processing, and the
bailiff is just like, I'm so done with this. Let's go.
Like, this is Tuesday. We're supposed to be out at 1. At this rate, we're gonna be gone at 7.
Right.
Well, that's about it, guys. Let's see. Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah. All of that, and yeah, she revokes the bond in the last 10 seconds, and they just move on, just like that. I think the attorney is still arguing his case, but everyone else has moved on.
Love it.
Oh, Jedi Rich, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I do appreciate you guys coming up on panel.
Thanks
for having us, Colin.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's been an honor, and thank you everyone in chat. You've been awesome as well. Thanks mods, thanks chats, and everyone who donated. Thanks.
I mean, Jedi did my intro. Rich just did my outro, so I don't really have anything else to say.
Ooh, Mikey in the chat. Hey, Mikey.
I'm setting up a redirect. Mikey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, Mikey, good to see you. Good to see you.
Nice one, Mike. And
yeah. Colin, I feel like, we do have enough of a twat waffle quorum here. Maybe the outro could be balls of steel.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember what. Oh, it's right here. It's like I don't remember what folder it is. I found it.
Oh no, it's right in front of you. You can't get away from it.
Yes, can't get away from it. All right, we'll play balls of steel. We'll do a salute to the twat waffles as an outro. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And like Rich said, thank you for the super chats. Thank you to the mods. Thank you for everyone to watch. Biggin, another giant shout out to you. Thank you so much for the raid and all of the raiders. I've got it set up to raid Lone Wolf tonight. Looks like Booze and Body Cam is off tonight. I don't see that on, so I'm just assuming maybe they took the night off. So we are going to raid Lone Wolf again tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, have a great night. Again, Jedi, Rich, thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you. Thanks everyone out there. Hope you had fun.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please.
Do that too. And for everyone who has not heard the Twat Waffles theme song, which is actually called Balls of Steel, it's loud, so it might come in kind of hot. Just to warn you.
Well, because we come in kind of hot.
Yes. Yes.
It's
all right.
fitting.
All right, here we go.